Who is going to carry their country to win the World Cup? Some of the biggest stars in basketball have assembled to see who is going to bring their country a World Cup. We've seen some action so we can start to see who's going to stand out and be serious contenders, even with some stars missing in some big teams like Team USA and the European and African teams. But some players have taken on the challenge to accomplish something for their country. So now let's look at some teams I think will make it far and see if there's some standouts in those teams. First, looking at Team USA, there's not one person leading them, but there are standouts.
Up ahead to Edwards. Oh boy, here's Ant-Man. Steps back, puts it up.
Is a lot of dribble handoffs as a pressure release, and this time, Delaney.
Edwards open and.
Like Anthony Edwards being in the top 3 of points, assists and rebounds in the team, but Paolo Banchero is also in the top 3 of those 3 averages for Team USA. And that's probably the difference between Team USA. They have so many good players you have to worry about when facing them, and not just one person carrying the load.
Halliburton.
And that's probably why they're the favourites to win the World Cup again. Now, Luka Doncic, who is averaging the most points and has scored the most points in the World Cup by averaging around 35 points a game.
Luka making his move to the rack, fade away.
This is the play earlier that I was talking about. Soho trying to guard.
Everyone clears out. He kicks
Down low to Luka. That's the patented Luka Doncic step back. How sweet it is.
Mismatch for sure. He'll decide to.
Looking at the Slovenian team, led by Luka, they're looking scary, like any team with Luka in it, leading the team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Luka also is now the 4th player to have consecutive World Cup games with 30 plus points in the 21st century. And that's what makes Slovenia the wild card, because if Luka's feeling good or he gets in the zone, he's capable of scoring 60 points and carrying his team to a win. And that's the wild part, you don't know what Luka you're going to get game to game. But Slovenia as a whole should go undefeated in the group stage and make a deep run into the tournament, especially with Luka doing everything he can to win games for his country with his team's help. Next is Germany. They have a good team with a couple NBA stars like the Wagner brothers, but their main guy is definitely one of the most underrated point guards in basketball, Dennis Schroeder, who is leading the team in points with 22 and assists with 7.
Mid-range.
Want to try and get better looks in that, but still able to knock it down.
A miss. Tice tracks it down. Schroeder all alone.
They are the dark horse of the tournament in my opinion. They have a decent team, and if they all have a good game, they could beat the top teams in a close game by a point and move on. They could even creep into the semi-finals, maybe even the finals, if Dennis Schroeder can get the team clicking.
And
One speed, changing it up. Great.
look at Salim. Looked like he was nailed to the floor.
Now we have Canada. They have a team that can compete with anyone, and like Team USA, they have a lot of NBA talent on their team. But the standout is for sure Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is nearly averaging a double-double with 20 points and 9 rebounds, which is crazy. But he's still not at his full scoring potential, as he's capable of scoring 30 points a game like he averaged in the NBA last season. So far, he's a problem on defense and offense, grabbing rebounds and going coast to coast. And if he starts to hit his 3-pointers, then he's one of the most dangerous players on any basketball court.
They've been asked to make plays.
Well, they left him. Defense leads to easy offense.
And here's the reason Canada are probably the joint favourites with Team USA to win it all. My final thought is if I could choose a World Cup final, I would want to see Canada versus Slovenia, with Shai and Luka going at it in a do-or-die game. No 7-game series, just a stacked NBA Canada side led by the rising star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander versus Slovenia's best European players and Luka Doncic, one of the best players in the NBA. Just one game for both players and both teams to give it their all and see who is the best.